Today's video is very simple. I'm going to present to you two paths, God's programming and society's programming. And you can choose where you want to go. If you go into society's programming and you keep being realistic instead of delusional, then you will experience more and more pain, because the only person that can limit yourself is not God, reality, or the universe, but you. And it all comes back to how much can you believe in yourself. But if you choose to go with God's programming, then you can embody and claim your natural state of being. And that's what you're learning in this video in 3 steps. Step number 1, we need to redefine what delusion is. Being delusional is looked at crazy by society. But in the scripture, we get another clue, and it says, "For we live by faith, not by sight." Sight are the things that we see that are supposedly real, and faith are the things that we cannot see. But everything that comes into our sight must first come through our faith. If we don't have faith in something, it cannot be seen in our reality. And that's why you start to understand why you need to be completely delusional, which in my redefinition is the following. To be completely delusional is to have unwavering faith in God. Right? Stop for a moment and we'll go deeper. All right, unwavering faith in God. Delusional self-belief is to have faith in God within yourself. And here's where we start breaking the old paradigms. And we understand, okay, we live by faith. We have faith in God. We give thanks to God, but God no longer lives outside, but within ourselves. And that means that the only person you need to believe in is in yourself, because within yourself, the limitless presence of God, the Creator, is within yourself. God's programming says that everything is possible for the one who believes. This is not religious poetry. This is factual proof, if you prove it in your life. Society's programming says, be realistic about your limitations. Let me give you another example to prove this point. The 4-minute mile, I think it was in 1967. There was this guy that I forgot his name, but he broke for the first time the 4-minute mile. He ran a mile in 4 minutes, and no one had done it before because no one believed that they could do it before him. And this record was after broken, I think, in a month, in a week, and more people started breaking that 4-minute mile, and they made new records with even shorter times. And the only thing that changed was the perception of that reality. They started to believe that they could do it, therefore they did it. They had faith. And when we have faith in the invisible, and then it manifests into the visible world. Right? So you need to be delusional. This is the real definition that I'm hammering into you now. Be completely delusional means have unwavering faith in God within yourself, because in God within yourself, all things are possible. Now, another example, Steve Jobs had a reality distortion field. And if you see the interviews of the people that knew him, they all said this guy was freaking almost crazy, and he didn't accept the usual limitations and rules that other human beings thought they had to accept. Steve Jobs refused those limitations in his work, in his career, and in his business. And in this reality distortion field, he started to create miracles. He went on to create the greatest innovation of all time, pretty much, which is the iPhone and Apple. And this company is worth, I think, trillions of dollars now. And Steve Jobs maybe remember that he was the main character of his world, and he refused acceptance of the limitations of society, And that's what we need to do. And if you think that you're delusional, we need to expand that even more, because when you're really delusional, you back that up not only with faith, but with unwavering action every single day. And that's the formula to be also the greatest entrepreneurs. So the reframe is this, to finish step number one. What society calls delusional, God calls faith. What they call unrealistic, what everyone is telling you, that's too much for you. That's not, what are you thinking? The Bible calls living by faith, not by sight. And I want you to stop outsourcing your divine nature right now to society's realistic box. I want you to start destroying this realistic identity or this inner voice. I want you to start taking the driver's seat and saying no. I know my potential. I have unwavering faith in me, in God, in me. And this is the immutable law and formula that we're going to come back to again and again. Self-perception equals reality creation. No one else in your reality is creating reality for you but you, because God can only act through you and your free will. This is the moment where you need to take responsibility and be a creator. Creators have a responsibility, okay? And we have to stop blaming outside invisible forces, because pointing the finger will only mirror you back to you, because you are the source of your reality. And that's great news, because the more that we create unwavering belief in ourselves and in God inside of us, the more that we can destroy the lies, which lead us to step number 2 to manifest anything you want. By being delusional, you need to destroy the old self-imposed limitations of society. And my guess is you're here because unconsciously you're probably outsourcing your divine nature. Why? Because you think that other things, other people, other places are more powerful or have power, when all the power was within yourself. And these are all human concepts, okay? We need to start destroying these lies, because beyond a human identity, your true self is connected to God, is that presence of God. So let's start breaking through these conditionings, some of the ones that appear. All right, realistic thinking. Maybe you've been told you need to be practical about your goals. That's not realistic for someone like you. You need to have a backup plan. Don't get your hopes too high. Stay grounded in reality. Don't aim too high, because maybe you'll fail. I'm too old. I'm too young for that. It takes years or decades to build wealth. Good things comes to those who wait. You have to pay your dues first. Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy, lucky. Incredible wealth and success is only for a selected few individuals. You're not qualified enough. You don't have the right connections. Stay in your lanes. What if I fail? What will people think? I'm not good enough. I don't deserve that level of success. And I want you to, right now, reflect upon your own life and identify at least the main self-imposed limitation. What's that inner voice? What's that inner critic telling you that's first blocking your own divinity, and second, preventing you from manifesting those deep desires that I know that you have, that you feel maybe they're so big, they're so great that you kind of unconsciously suppress them, or your ego wants to suppress them. And I want you to start reclaiming and being delusional about them, and start to believe that you can achieve those goals, that you can become that ultimate person, that whatever goal was given to you, that whatever desire was planted in your heart, even if you're scared of it, I want you to know that that was given to you with a purpose, with a seed, and with a message that comes from your infinite true self that already has or already is that in the future. If not, you would never have that desire that you have. And you need to understand that desires that you have for expansion of love, light, wealth, riches, abundance, money, and success, when they come from a pure source, when they come from that source, they are God's spoken words within you that are knocking on your door. And you are the one who chooses if you will open that door and let them into your reality. And the way that you open up that door is to start developing unwavering faith, delusion, being delusional, and believe that not only you can have those things, but if you dare yourself, you can even start to feel that you have them and that you are those things now. That you can feel yourself to be so rich even before you are that level of rich, that you can start to feel yourself as an unconditional source of love. I want you to imagine right now, what is it that I'm calling myself too crazy to have, too crazy to do, too crazy to feel? And I want you to give yourself permission to drop these old clothes, to literally imagine with me right now that you're unzipping this old conditioning, this old, backpack full of rocks that you've been carrying from society. And I want you to drop it and imagine that you're stepping forward and that all of that is behind you and is being consumed by a white fire. And I really want you to feel it in your body, in your cells, in your nervous system, how you can give yourself permission to be free, and how truly all things that you could ever desire are possible when you believe in God within yourself. Because here's the greatest revelation of all. You, as a human, as the personality, can do nothing. But in the name of God, and the one who believes in God, everything is possible. And we can have faith by feeling that we have that thing, that we are that feeling. We start to claim it. You start to activate the mechanism. And I'm going to go into a moment into step number 3 of how to actually manifest by using this delusional faith and belief within yourself and within God. But you must choose what master you're going to serve. Because it's all amazing to hear this truth now, to feel inspired, but when no one is watching, you will have to choose. No one else is your savior but you. That's something that hit me really, really deep, that for many years I was waiting. I was waiting for things. I was waiting for people. I was waiting for spiritual masters, for people that I looked up to. I was waiting and waiting for someone to come to save me. I was waiting for someone who had more power over me, until I dared to be delusional enough to stop seeing myself as this limited, shy, self-doubting human being, and that I could claim that I was so much greater than that, and I could only limit myself to the degree of my self-conception. And that is my greatest purpose in this lifetime, and my greatest mission every single day is to expand my self-conception and to remove or transmute or transform my self-created human concept, so that God within me can express more of its own divinity, of its own power, of its own opulence and wealth through me. And I am that humble messenger. And you are too, because God and that same presence lives within you. And anyone that you look up to, this can be, I don't know, a mentor, a coach, a guide, a teacher, even what we would call your highest self that is connected in in oneness with God, ascended masters, everything, realize that all of those things are only the more advanced consciousness of yourself. And what that means is they simply are God in action more in that individual. And that's you, and that's your process of evolution. And that's how I want you to redefine manifestation as we go into step number 3. Manifestation is not even about getting the thing, because manifestation is about rising into greater and greater expansion of consciousness to the place where you feel whole, where you feel worthy, where you feel that you are one with that divinity. And once you have that wholeness, once you have that power, once you have that peace that only you can give yourself permission to, then all the things that you want will come knocking on your door. You will become an invincible magnet of attraction. It was never about manifesting the thing. It was always about reclaiming the truth that you knew in your heart. And that's deep. Make sure you really connect with that contemplation. And then you will see how silly, how funny all of these old limitations are. You'd be like, how can I even say this? Because all of these limitations is your own ego and your human self speaking limitations into existence. And because you have God within you, the source of all your life and your manifestations, whatever you believe, you will manifest. So you will always be right, because God is impartial and the law will work either being bad or good. Good and evil, it doesn't matter. It's what you choose to believe. And as we go into step number 3, if you choose to leave this old baggage behind, only then can you go into step number 3, which is how to manifest by being delusional. Okay? And I want to start off this step with Hebrews 11:1. And it says, faith is confidence in what we hope for, and assurance about what we do not see. Again, the true definition of being delusional is to have such unwavering faith in God within yourself that you do not even need to see the manifestation in reality to have proof that you already have it. Why? Because through the mechanism of your thought and feeling and your consciousness, you can travel to any point in space and time to feel, okay, that you have the thing that you desire. And as you feel that, you are feeling the faith. You are believing and seeing that which cannot be seen. And faith is that confidence, and confidence is a feeling. And that's what manifestation is really about. Here's how it actually works. It's a beautiful mechanism. Everything starts with identity. Identity creates belief. Belief creates possibility. Possibility creates action, and action determines your destiny. That's the formula. I want you to write it down. Your destiny is your manifestations. And to achieve or to manifest anything you want, you need to be delusional. You need to shift your identity, okay? You need to stop believing that you're only a human being, that you should be realistic. You need to shift your identity into your true self, because your true self is one with the Father, is one with God, and in God all things are possible. It doesn't matter. Here's the greatest culprit and the trap that you must not continue to fall for. It doesn't matter how much personal development and spiritual development you do, because most of that work is refining and upgrading your ego. You're still working on the base level of identity of your ego. But if you are able to shift and I'll guide you in through an experience right now. If you're able to shift into your I am, into your true self, you will start daring yourself automatically, effortlessly, and naturally to claim yourself to be and manifest anything you want. Okay? Because that identity, all right, if I have an identity of making greater and greater amounts of success, wealth, and money, makes me feel shame or makes me feel like I'm going to lose my freedom, then that becomes a belief that I have. And because I have that belief, I expect that to happen. That is now a possibility. And so I take action to supposedly try to scale my business. But in reality, what I'm doing is I'm self-sabotaging greater and greater levels of success. Because just perhaps on a deep, deep level, that identity that I think I am doesn't feel worthy and deserving, or doesn't feel good enough, doesn't feel delusional enough. It feels too realistic. That's too much for me. You see how that works? And that becomes your destiny, and that becomes your reality. And you will try to look for all things outside of yourself, strategies, mentors, coaches, systems, funnels, and you will try everything to try to change things outside when you know this formula. I want you to start looking all the way back and trace it to the actual blueprint. I want you to imagine this formula like a building, all right? Imagine that you're the architect. The architect has a blueprint, and that blueprint is what creates the building, right? The blueprint is your consciousness, aka your identity, and the building is reality. The house or the mansion is reality. And so if you want to change reality, if you want to change the house in which you live in, 24/7 inside your mind and your emotions, if you want to remodel and upgrade that house, you have to go all the way back to the blueprint. You need to change the blueprint. You need to change your identity so that you change your beliefs, your possibilities, and your actions. Why? Because if you stay in the realm of human and realistic, and you tell me, JP, what you're telling me today sounds amazing, but that doesn't really resonate with me, or it's not true, or all of those things that your ego could say, then you will never have the belief or the faith to achieve that greater manifestation, and you will never achieve it because it will not even be a possibility for you. And if something's not possible for you, you cannot manifest. It's literally out of your field of vision. So right now I'm seeing at the camera, I can't really see what's behind me. Behind me is a beautiful ocean and a sea full of abundance and possibilities and light. But right now, because I'm just focused on what's possible and what's available to me, I cannot see all of the abundance that's behind me, because I believe that only what's in front of me is real. Therefore, I can never see the ocean. I can never go into the ocean. I can never go into that abundance. You see how that works? So I can never work and I can never take action on creating that insane, incredible abundance, because I never even believed that it was possible. I want you to reflect here before I take you into the guided activation. How many times, and I share this with you, how many times you haven't even dared to take an action to go for that greater manifestation or achievement just because you didn't even think it was possible? It's happened to me so many times. And you know what I call that? I call that settling for less than what you deserve in your life. We're settling. We're settling for less because we believe that's what we deserve. That's all we do. And even at higher and higher levels of our life, we settle. We believe that we can only have the riches or the success, but not the peace, but not the spirituality, but not the purpose. And who told you that? Society. But you, as the creator of your reality, your belief in a thing gives it life. So I can choose to believe that I can have it all, that I can have the success and the fulfillment, the peace, the purpose, and the profits. That's where I am transmitting the message from. That's part of my life's mission, my work, my business. And so that's why your faith is your fortune. That's it. So you need to believe in yourself. Now let's go into the guided experience of how you manifest by being delusional. The first thing I'm going to ask you to do is take a deep breath in and close your eyes. I'm going to help you shift into your true self, the I am. And from that state of receptivity, I'm going to guide you into you starting to manifest and feel the thing that you want to manifest. Let's take it full into practical application. Now close your eyes, take a deep breath in through the nose, and say and feel, I am. I am is the name of God inside of you. And as you can see, there are no pre-programmed limitations within the name of God. As you say and feel I am, you are returning home to your inherent divinity, to your inherent power. Say and feel I am now. I am. I am. I am. I am. Forget about everything else and feel I am. I am. I am. I am. Start to feel floaty. Start to feel expanded. You're leaving behind all the baggage, all the old clothes, all the old rocks on that weight. And you're entering into your full dominion as God intended. I am. I am. And now, take a deep breath in. The floating sensation confirms that you've left the old reality behind. And now we apply the principle of having faith, of being quote unquote delusional. We're going to have faith not only by having faith, but by feeling. And so I want you to bring that greatest manifestation. I'll use the example of a greater level of wealth, riches, and abundance. And I want you to claim yourself to be this. I am free. I am free. You've entered into the receptive state. That's the feminine principle. Now the masculine principle is to marry or become one with that desire, with that new state of consciousness. I am free. How does it feel to be free now, to be and have the thing that you've been wanting for so long? And let your body feel this and consciously expand that thrilling sensation. I want you to go beyond everything and break through that ceiling and say and feel, I am free. I am free. Smile. Smile and feel it, because as you feel it, you're impressing it and you're shifting your identity. I am free. I am free. I am free. Transform it from faith into a reality that already lives within you. That is faith. That is being the truth. I am. Stay here for a moment. Continue to feel it. Breathe deeply in and out. How would it feel to have this desire to realize right now in this instant? Travel to the feeling and the space where this is already a reality and expand the feeling. Go deeper. You must intensify the feeling. Now say, I am free. Feel it one more time. Take a deep breath in. When you're ready, you can open your eyes instantly. You can breathe in all of this new energy, all of this reprogramming that has been happening. If you drifted away, that's fine. If you felt some resistance, that's fine. If you felt some blockages, that's fine. That's just a programming, excuse me, that you work on clearing. And it's all a matter of practice and discipline. And of course, this was just a very simple sneak peek. You need to go deeper into your own privacy and go to the full height and continue to intensify the feeling. Because once you fully intensify the feeling, you will feel a thrill of joy throughout your whole body. And that's the moment where you have achieved 100% success rate. The shift of identity, belief, possibility, action, and your destiny. And what I've just shared with you, it's so valuable, it's so important. I don't want you to take it for granted. You can stop searching and start applying and living this, because this is worth all the money in the world, because it's your mechanism to create reality. There's nothing and nothing else, okay? This activation is, I want you to literally imagine that you took out your credit card and that you paid me $2,000 for the video that you just experienced. Imagine that it was a course or whatever it is. How much more committed would you be to apply this in your life? Give value to this video and prove this love for yourself. There's literally no other questions you need to ask. You don't need to call me and ask me, how do I do this? You received everything, okay? You must go from information to transformation to manifest these miracles in your life. I know that perhaps a lot of you guys will listen to this and won't take action, but I'm speaking to the few percent of you that you know that you are ready, that you are the one. And we all are. But you must take action. I want you to go and be disciplined and apply this every single day. And if you want my help to get you there faster, with more guidance, easier, here's how I can help you. With the True Self method. It's an amazing method that I created. What we've covered today is what I call power. And the other part of the equation that I've discovered is purification. All right. So power is how the True Self method works. It's 2 steps. What we covered today is conscious manifestation, the actual laws, rules, and principles. Then for other videos, this is kind of like the full blueprint for reality creation. We need habits, presence, power, and control over your ego. That will be for another video. And then we need deep subconscious purification. For example, if you felt resistance throughout the video, like if you felt inner voices, inner doubt, inner guilt, inner shame, all of these are signs that are telling us that there's subconscious programming, that there's beliefs, maybe that are inherited, maybe that you picked them up from society, that are just active right now in your body. And the way in which I found to purify this is using a subconscious clearing modality that I've developed. Because for a long time, I tried so many different modalities, but they weren't deep enough. They weren't permanent enough. I had temporary results, and this worked really amazingly for me. And that's why I'm sharing it with you. When you connect both the power and the purification, you get the best of both worlds and you achieve the permanent result. Okay? So if you've identified that this is for you, then here's the two ways that I can help you. The first way, which I highly encourage you to go check out, is the 30-day wealth expansion challenge. There's a link below. It's 10 minutes a day. I give you the habits, I give you everything, the full blueprint, the habits, the subconscious clearing sessions, the manifestation techniques, and it's a day-by-day system where you create momentum. And every day that you clear stuff, it becomes exponential. And you start feeling lighter, clearer, and with more space, with less inner criticism, with less guilt, with less worry, with less fear that was embedded to your nervous system. If you feel that you want all of this clearing, this purification on a deep level to feel lighter and to accept and feel more of this truth in your body, this 30-day challenge is for you and you're going to absolutely love it. So check it out below. And path number 2 is for you if you are already an entrepreneur or leader making $100,000 or more a month and you want to scale your business and reclaim your peace. You want to integrate the concept that we've talked about today. You want to use that to create the most amazing, conscious, aligned business. And if that's you, there's a link below to go to a page where you can see a video which has literally all of the information of the program, the details, what it includes, and everything else for you to make your most informed decision. And I'm looking forward to serving you in those ways as well. Apply what you learned today. And remember that you now have the blueprint, literally the entire blueprint to be delusional, to be a creator, and to manifest like the master that you've always been. Go and apply what you learned today and let me know how it goes in the comments. JP signing out. Until the next one.